What is going on, guys? It is DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another deck profile. Today we're going to do an updated version of the Ophanimon Turbo deck, mainly because I changed some things because guess what? I did win one of my events, as you can see here. I did win the Beelzemon winner stamped card. I'm really excited for this because I was really vying to get one of these. I'm hoping to maybe get one more. I have one more tournament coming up. But yeah, with that said, I want to get into the profile and I'm going to talk about the matchups and the things I learned about this and the changes I made from the previous deck profile, which I think it was like about a few days ago. So definitely maybe look at this one over that one because this is definitely more updated. So starting things off, we have four Devimons. Not much to say here. Draw one, trash one. You want to cycle. It's the best egg in the game. That's really what it is. We want to run 3 copies of Ignitemon. This card is just bonkers. I will say, don't forget, it does have the when attacking effect, which sometimes can come into play. You have to keep that in mind. It gets rid of floodgates if you have like just another level 3 on the field, or can get rid of big problematic cards. I used this card one time to get rid of a Mervamon, which means that all his retaliation Digimon lost their blocker capability. Additionally, you do have when you play a Digimon, by an effect, gain a memory as the inherit, and you use obviously this for cross hearts for Mervamon. So I think 3 is fine. I might go to 4 depending on, I don't know, the format and stuff. 2 copies of Salamon. Honestly, this is a little bit. You could run 3 and cut one of the other cards I'll show you. But Salamon is good. It searches a dual color purple. You're running the Ophanimon deck is pretty much like a yellow purple type of deck. So you have a bunch of targets with this. I think 2 was fine though. I never really needed to see like a third one, honestly. So yeah, we have that. And then for the rest of our rookies, we run our Floodgates, 2 Gazi, 1 Psych. You are playing Mervamon, so you got to be careful with this card. If it's on the field, maybe you want to swing with it and do a little bit of damage, try to get off the field. Calling from the darkness it, Digivolve on top of it, whatever you need to do. But it also stops your opponent, obviously. Like, that's what your goal is with this card. And so you got to know what your matches are like. Gazimon, though, was the winner, absolutely, of this tournament. Gazimon just stops so much against your opponent. If you're playing against Beelzemon, it stops the milling effects of, like, the Death Slingers or the... oh my god, what's it called? Wizardmon, for gaining memory. So they have to deal with this first, and sometimes that costs them the turn. They'll have to play Deathslinger, maybe give you 4 or something like that. So that was a couple of the matches that ended up happening with Gazimon and Psych. The last 2 were 2 Devimons of different types. So we have Devimon here with the Retaliation. The reason for that is mainly because it's targetable. You can bring it back with Mervamon, and Retaliation automatically will gain... blocker and rush, so you could attack the same turn. Just another target. You could absolutely use this card instead of Ignitemon, but there's a reason I'm picking this card. And also the Devimon, that's a 2-drop, 1 to Digivolve, so you really just want to play this out. There was one game where I played this out, and I just kind of rushed him. Like, I played 1, 2, and then 1 in the raising, and I was able to just do 3 checks in like 1 turn just with the rookies, which really put pressure on him. He had to kind of give me like 7 memory with Mervamon, which is kind of what my plan was with him. And also 4K is just really big. So yeah, 2 copies of this. Oh, and the last thing about this is because it has a trait of evil, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But yeah, 2 copies of that. Going on to our next card. We're going to the 4s now. We're playing 4 copies of Gatomon. As always, Ophanimon needs Gatomon, searches a yellow, searches a purple. It reduces the cost of your Fallen Angels, Archangels, Angels, and a turn DNA. This card is just so good at gaining resources from your deck, recurring from the trash to be able to give you back. Like, that's the point of like the Ophanimon loop, is that your Ophanimon dies, you bring back Gatomon, you search cards in your deck, maybe you get a Lady Devi or something like that, and then you just start it all over again. We are running 2 copies of the promo Wizardmon. Now, this was another change from my other deck profile. Wizardmon is a wizard in traits, as you can see here, which is going to be important when I talk about a card at the end of the thing here. the deck profile. Sorry, I'm trying to go fast. Trying to work on my speed here. But it has an inherited of when you use an option card, gain one memory. We use a lot of option cards in this deck. There, you'll see later on. So being able to do something like play a Flame Hell Scythe, get rid of one of your opponent's Digimon for 6, and then you can gain a memory because Wizardmon will gain you a memory because you used an option. If you have an Ignite Mon underneath it, it'll also gain you an additional memory because you played a Digimon by an effect. So you'll automatically gain. You'll basically be playing Flame Hell Scythe for 4 cost. And also it's a wizard, and actually it's 5k, which is not too bad. I only run 2 of them. I don't think you need more than that, but this card was just super good in my games. 1 Devimon, 1 Vilemon, depending on the reason for this. Vilemon is a evil in its traits, which again is very important. I'll mention it later. But Devimon here is a 1 to Digivolve on top of. Sometimes your opponent can choke you, and you just need to get to your level 5 or 6. So being able to just say, all right, Devimon on top of your rookie and raising, and then Digivolve on top of it into your level 5 or something like that is totally fine. This card is just fine, but more of the time you want these two in your trash so you can bring them back via Flame Hell Scythes or in situations where your opponent is about to win and do game you. 2 copies of Maycrackmon. Before I was running 3. You don't need 3. I cycle through my deck so many times, and the biggest thing out of this is that you want this in trash. So as soon as you get in your hand, even don't worry about oh, I need a level 5. Just get into the trash because Flame Hell Scythe will help you later bring it out. Because basically you can get rid of anything 9,000 DP or less because of this effect, as well as this Flame Hell Scythe that you can bring it back with. 2. I was running 3 before, and I just felt like it wasn't needed. We're running 2 copies of the Lady Devimon from BT3. Draw 2, trash 2, and then Inherited, delete a level 3 Digimon that has if you play an option card. So there was actually one game where I played Lady Devimon, a Digivolve Lady Devimon, and it was my turn still, and I knew I was going to lose if he kept enough Digimon out, so I just played Purple Memory Boost, and I gained a memory from Wizardmon, and then I gained Lady Devimon's effect, was able to get rid of a level 3 Impmon on their side of the field, which basically won me the game. So yeah, 2 of those. 2 copies of Lady Devimon from BT11. If it's basically you're being able to cycle much better from in your Ophanimon loop, being able to have one in your trash and then you discard a card, return it back to your hand, Digivolve on top, and just loop it back and forth. So basically the combo would go Gatomon is played, Digivolve for 1 over into Lady Devimon, or any of your Lady Devimon. Draw 2, trash 2, and then Digivolve into your Fani. You swing security, it gets deleted by an effect, whatever the case might be. It goes to the trash. Your Gatomon returns back, looks at the top 3. Maybe you get this in one of those choices. And then you Digivolve for 1 on top, trash a card from your hand, get the Ophanimon from your trash, add it to your hand, Digivolve again. So that is the loop. That is really good. Then 1 copy of Lady Devimon. This is the starter. Is it starter deck? Yeah, it's the starter deck 10. It really wasn't that great. There was one game it helped where I was missing Ophanimon and I needed to hit it with this, and I did. So just one of, but I think these ratios are totally fine. No problems with it, honestly. Going into our level 6s, the start of the show, Ophanimon Fall Down Mode. This card is really good. I really, really love this card. Being able to recover 1, delete one of your opponent's level 4s. If you have a dual color, yellow or purple underneath it, it's just so oppressive. Your opponent will not be able to get just rookies on the field to be able to swing and do damage, so it slows them down so much. And then, of course, if they get rid of this, especially in a purple-only tournament, you got to keep in mind you're playing purple-only. Deletion effects are 90% of how you remove stuff from the field. I'll show you the other ways, actually, after this. But Ophanimon, of course, recovers 1, and if they delete it, it just cycles, like I said, it cycles back Gato, it cycles back a blocker. You get your whatever you need in your deck, in your graveyard, back to the field. Sorry, your trash pile back to your field. We run 2 copies of Mervamon. As I said before, we are running a little bit of Cross Hearts. What I like to do usually is I'll actually either if I know I can keep it my turn or I know that it's very close to my turn, I'll use Mervamon, use the Ignite, but sometimes I actually use itself as its own thing. can reduce the cost, and then just bring back 2 guys on the field. If I know I'm going to pass turn. Plus, if they Death X me, Mervamon is still there. And it's again, you can recur it from the trash via a bunch of card effects. This didn't really change in terms of anything. My level 6s really didn't change at all, but we have one Bagramon, of course. Bagramon is so good. I was so happy when I saw this on one game. He had a really big stack. It was probably about to win, and then I digivolved into this. I put everything under a Gazemon and trashed the card from his thing, and it's just 13k is just very big too. But it was definitely helpful. One copy of Ophanimon because you need an alternate win con in this deck. You don't really mill too much, honestly, in this deck. So this is like a very, very late game. Like your opponent's about to win. Maybe you have exhausted a bunch of your resources and you're at 20 cards in deck. And in terms of this tournament, Beelzemon mills super fast. So at the end of the day, they're going to be at something like 6 or 7 cards left in deck. And this is a 3 to Digivolve in. So if you're able to hit 3 Digimon with like any kind of level 5 on the field, you just Digivolve this and then swing for game, and you bring off, of course, a level 5 back from your trash. It could be Lady Devimon, it could be anything else. But yeah, this is the perfect lineup of level 6s in my opinion. If you don't want to run the Mervamon, obviously you don't need to, and you can kind of face these out for other stuff, or maybe other copies of these cards, or a 4th copy of Ophanimon. I don't think it's needed, but that is essentially the Digimon that we're playing here, except for our level 7s, which we'll get into in just a moment. We are running 1 Ophanimon, 1 Death X. Not really much to say about this. Death X is obviously a standard in a lot of purple decks. Ophanimon, though, actually came in clutch a few times because you can, if you keep it your turn with Ophanimon, which now is pretty easy to do, or Ophanimon, you can hard play a Mervamon, get 2 bodies on the field, and then DNA into this, and at that time, you can wipe your opponent's board, recover, and also have 3 bodies on the field. So this card was clutch, and also I actually one game deleted this on purpose so I could bring it back, and I had more cards in trash, and then I just digivolved into like a Creepymon so I can win from via deck out. I did win one of my games via deck out, unfortunately, for my opponent. For the option cards, 3 Chaos Degrades, Degradations, and 4 copies of Flame Hellscythe. Really not much to say here. This is pretty standard for me. I don't think you need to run 4, especially with the combo I'll explain at the end of this video. So yeah, now if you even draw these, it's not as much of a problem. 3 copies of Purple Mem Boost. You need ways of making sure you're not going to pass turn and your opponent's not going to choke you. And actually, the Purple Mem Boosts are more important earlier in the game because once you get your tamers and stuff on the field, then you're able to sustain yourself. But purple gets you your pieces. It also lets you actually facilitate early damage. Nothing here has really changed from anything we've spoken about before. 1 Calling from the Darkness because it recurs back. Not much to say about that. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. 1 Matt Ashita. Again, it recurs back. I think that 1 is fine. I would have liked to see this a lot more often because there were times I did get choked and I didn't want a Matt on field. But it's totally fine. You're really there for control, and your opponent will have to eventually give you enough memory not to for you to do stuff. 2 copies of Mireille. This is just neat. I was running 3 before. And I changed it for the last card I'm going to explain. And the Mireille was really good. It gave me an extra memory. It's a yellow source, so it's yellow-purple, and that way I can use my options from my hand. And then lastly, the last card to talk about was the new card, Iron Mako. Now, this is the reason all the changes occurred in my deck in the first place. Because I was not aware of how good this card is, and it's the way it was explained to me via judge rulings. I looked on Discord and the Bandai Judges Discord, as well as the tournament organizer and other people who essentially agreed with me. Is this card is just super bonkers, and I'm hoping that Bandai, if you are seeing this video or you're seeing a bunch of complaints, that you do something about the combo I'm about to show very soon, because security control is going to get way out of control soon. But yeah, so what this card does is, first off, it searches top 4. You get a Demon Lord, a Evil, or a Wizard from your deck to your hand. That's why I'm running more Wizardmons and Devimons. so that I have more targets in my deck to hit with this, because I do want to utilize this as the most. And sometimes that can be good because you might be missing your level 4, or you're missing your level 3, and just grabbing that off of this is just really good. But that's not the real reason why you're using this card. The real reason is for its second effect. So when you Digivolve into a purple Digimon, then you can suspend this tamer to place a card from the top of your deck onto the top of the deck to gain a memory for this card to be utilized. So now I'm going to show you the combo why this card is busted. I'll just put these over here. Actually, I'll just throw them over here, and I'm just going to grab the pieces that I need to show off the combo. So basically, the general easy combo to go off of is having a level 6, or a level 4, or whatever you need, really. For Maycrack or something like that. It's a good example, just because like sometimes you can get this easily on the field. So you have Maycrack, that's number 1. You need Ophanimon, and you need any of your removals. So let's just say your Flame Hell Scythe, or your Chaos Degradation, and that is basically all you need. And you need basically 3 memory. So we'll go 3 memory here, and this is how the combo plays out. So, and I'll explain why this works, and I'll explain my matchups in just a moment, and we'll finish up the video. So this is your hand, right? Here, your removals that unfortunately you were able to you drew, and it looks like you don't want to give them 7 memory. Sure. So you're gonna Digivolve into this. You're gonna draw for your Digivolve here. That's gonna be 4 costs. Gonna put your opponent to 1. But you're going to use Ein Mako. So what you're going to do is you're going to tap this because you have a choice of when Digivolving, because these are both occurring with a trigger of when Digivolving. So you can use either one in any order, as far as I understand, and how it was explained to me. So you can put either of these cards to the top of your deck to gain that memory, keeping you to 0, keeping your turn, and then Ophanimon will recover that card to the top of your security, essentially stacking your security. Now, this is how it was explained to me with Ein Mako and Ophanimon and everything else. And the reason it was explained to me like this was because this works the same way that a Cool Boy would work with Gabumon or any of the X antibodies. So assume that you Digivolve into Gabumon on top of Gabumon X over Gabumon. You Digivolve, you draw for that Digivolve, and then it has a when Digivolving, look at the top 3. So you can activate that if you wanted to first, or Cool Boy first to draw 1, gain a memory, and then look at the top 3. So because of that, it's a very similar ruling, because it is a your turn effect that you Digivolve, and you gain that prerequisite requirement. So I believe that's completely true. But yeah, so like this was a crazy couple of days, and I'll just really quickly talk about some of my matchups and what I thought about the whole event in general. So I really liked. Purple's been always a color I've had a little bit of a struggle with, honestly. Just a lot of math sometimes, and a lot of combo work. But I've always been a fan of Beelzemon. It's something I wanted to win, to add to my collection, and I luckily did win one. Now, what my matchups were, or my experience was, I actually went to 3 different locals. I have 1 more actually coming up. I wanted to try to win a playset of the Beelzemon, or to participate, get the Impmons that are stamped. So anyway, I went to 3 locals, and the third one I won. The first local was before I made any of the changes. It was the deck profile that you saw earlier. It was really good. I actually came in second place. I went undefeated until the last round. It was 3 rounds, and basically the first round I got Ophanimon, mirror match. Second round I got against a Beelzemon deck, and then the third one was another Beelzemon deck, and the third one did win against me for that, and I came in second place, which was really good. Day 2. I learned from one of the guys there the way Ein Mako works with the Ophanimon stuff, and he basically explained to me like how it sequences these 2 together. And so day 2 I came back. I actually came in third that day, so a little lower than I did before, but I learned a lot, and it was fun. I had tied in the second round against a Beelzemon player, and then I tied again against a Mervamon player. And then the third day, I went to a more locals, and this time I knew I was gonna win. I had to win this one, and I won. Or I went. It was 4 rounds. First round was against a Mervamon rush player, and that was the one where I kind of did the rookie rush kind of thing and got him down really low. Second, that was I think we went 2-1 on that one. Second round, I faced a Beelzemon player, but it was only he only didn't have any purple cards like from prior to that, so he just played the starter deck just by itself. He did really well. 2-0. I by 2-0'd him. For that, we went to round three, and I faced against another Beelzemon player. That was the one I actually was able to win by decking him out in the first game. Then I was able to just get a lot of advantage in him in the second game. And then so that was like luckily that, and then the fourth round was against another Beelzemon player, but this guy had everything in the deck. Everything was put together, and I just kind of like I kind of control just went through the control route and just got rid of things on his board, made him very very low in cards, and essentially what ended up happening is he milled so many cards that he just couldn't build up a new stack and couldn't swing in the game. He actually hit into Flame Hellscythe in the last card in my security, which brought back a Vilemon, which I was able to block his final attack, and there was no way of him being able to do anything after that. So it was a good game, and that was it. Overall, it was a really enjoyable experience. I really hope to be part of more of these. I hope they do more things like this where it's purple only or blue only or red only. I love to try this out definitely as like a little bit of an experiment, and hopefully I have one more locus left, so maybe I'll get this guy a brother. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay classy.